to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
There's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. But the surface appears to be very, very fine-grained as you get close to it. I'm at the foot of the ladder. I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It's possible that we're the only civilization in the Milky Way galaxy at the moment. Like, it's worth considering that might be the case, and there are reasons we can go into about why that may be the case. So if it's true, imagine it's true, I think that if we're talking about the meaning of it all, well, meaning is a property of intelligence, I think. So clearly the universe means something to us. So meaning exists here. But if there's no other intelligence out there in our galaxy, and we destroy ourselves, then we might eliminate meaning in a galaxy of 400 billion stars forever. That's what we might do. So consider that, world leaders. You have potentially a galactic size responsibility to maintain meaning in a galaxy.
Favourite fact about the universe? This is an easy one, I think. It's the size of the universe. The bit we can see, which is what's called the observable universe, has about between 1 and 2 trillion galaxies in it, depending on how little tiny galaxies and big galaxies, but it's let's say 1 trillion-ish. Something like that. And that is only a small patch of the universe that exists, so we're sure of that. Whether the universe is infinite in all directions, we don't actually know, but as far as we can tell, it could be. So my favourite fact about the universe is that it might be infinitely big.
Did you know that Earth is in such a perfect position that a mere 10% change in the distance from the Sun would result in intense heat capable of roasting us completely? Similarly, if we were 10% farther away, we would face intense cold, freezing the entire planet. A 10% faster rotation would generate furious winds, reaching speeds of 300 to 400 kilometers per hour. On the other hand, a 10% slower rotation would mean prolonged exposure to the sun, resulting in scorching temperatures of 60 to 80 degrees Celsius during the day, and extremely low temperatures of minus 40 to minus 50 degrees Celsius at night. The sun's temperature is meticulously balanced to allow for the existence and sustenance of life on planet Earth. The precise rotation of the moon prevents the accumulation of stagnant water and contributes to the stability of the Earth's axis. Furthermore, Jupiter occupies a strategic position as a protective shield against asteroids, meteorites, and comets that would pose a threat to life on Earth. If Jupiter were 10% closer to the Sun, it would protect Venus. 10% farther away, it would protect Mars. In the piece of the universe we can see, there are something like, roughly, 2 trillion galaxies. We haven't counted them all, but that's an estimate based on surveys of the local universe. 2 trillion, 2,000 billion galaxies. And each galaxy is, let's say, around the size of the Milky Way. Some are bigger, some are smaller, but the Milky Way has 400 billion stars in it. It takes light over 100,000 years to cross a galaxy. And there are 2 trillion of them in the piece of the universe we can see. And we're very sure that that piece that we can see is a small bit of what may be an infinite universe beyond. We don't know, actually. And I always say, don't get worried about that, because nobody can picture it. It is impossible to visualize the scale of the universe. Light travels at 300,000 kilometers per second, 186,000 miles a second. And at that speed, it's taken over 13 billion years to travel from the most distant object in that image to Earth, to the Hubble Space Telescope. Now, when you think that the Earth is only just under 5 billion years old, it means that most of the light from most of the galaxies in that image began its journey to Earth before there was an Earth. And for some of the most distant galaxies there, they were over halfway here when the solar system was just a cloud of gas and dust. It hadn't yet coalesced into the sun and the planets and moons of the solar system. Imagine what that looks like when you extend it over the entire sky. Well, this is a beautiful map of the observable universe. Every dot on that map is a galaxy with 100 billion stars like our sun in it, at least.
What is the most likely way that the world could end?
What's going to happen is that the sun, it'll grow as it gets older, and it'll swell up. It probably won't engulf the Earth, but it'll get close. The Earth will probably drift out because the sun will lose some mass. So but it'll toast it, basically. So the Earth will end up toasted as a cinder, probably still orbiting the remains of the sun, which will be what's called a white dwarf star, which is just something that basically fades away. So that's what's going to happen in about 5 billion years. If you mean by the end of the world, you mean the end of civilization, then long before that, we'll have had to escape, because it will become, the conditions on the planet will not support complex life like us. It'll be too hot. We might not have to wait for the sun to do it, because we might do it through our own stupidity.
Choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
There's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. With the surface appears to be very, very fine-grained as you get close to it. I'm at the foot of the ladder. I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man,